brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
All right, everyone, we are talking about puberty. We all go through it, so this is a topic that everybody's going to find interesting, and hopefully you're taking notes right now, especially you parents. And Dr. Jitka Lom is here. Now, Dr. Lom, before we get into these questions, it's interesting, and I guess evidence would show that more parents have the birds and the bees talk with their children, but not necessarily the you're about to go through puberty. Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I think people tend to focus on the sexual aspects and are concerned that their children might, especially for the girls, get pregnant and so on in high school. That's a big issue here on Guam. So they focus on that, but really the bigger issue is the changes in your body and in your mind that occur during those, 8 years or so that you go through puberty.
All right, very well. So let's get right into the questions. Question number 1, Dr. Lom. My teen, this person says, is concerned about something. Good indicator. She, obviously talking about a girl, is getting body hair, even pubic hair, but no breast development yet. Is this normal?
It may be normal. It may be normal in your family. A concern that many young girls will have is about their breast size and where they are along that path and whether they are wearing a bra or not and so on. This is a big problem for middle schoolers, believe it or not. And so being sensitive to that is important and reassuring your daughter, giving it time. And if there really is a concern after a couple of years, you should go see your pediatrician. But generally, there is always breast tissue there. There may not be much of it.
Okay. Question number 2, when do growth spurts usually occur? And I guess more importantly, does it hurt?
They can hurt a little bit, yeah, as your bones are growing and your muscles are stretching and so on. And also as you're getting used to this new body, I don't know if you remember back then, but all of a sudden it's a different shape and different length and how you negotiate the world feels quite different to people. So they may trip more, they may be a little bit more clumsy, and so on when they're teenagers. So staying active in sports is really helpful for that to develop their coordination. So to answer the question of when does it end, in girls a couple of years after your menstruation begins, so around 15 or so you'll stop growing, 15 to 16, and for boys it may be a little bit longer than that, up to 19 or 20.
Now if you'll permit me to ask, you're quite tall yourself. I'm 6'3", I went from being 5'8" to 6'3" in about a 10-month span when I was in high school. It was really difficult for me because especially my coordination. How was it for you?
Well, actually I began my puberty quite late, so I just had the experience of growing taller and taller. Actually, I'm the short one in my family. My brother's 6'7", so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we will definitely save that for a future episode of Healthy Living, mark my words. Okay, question number 3, why do teenagers experience pimples and acne? We talked about how to treat those, but exactly why are they getting it?
Okay, once again, so the hormonal changes in your body, in the ovaries and in the testes, in women and girls it's going to produce periods, in men it's going to produce semen and so on. Those affect the level of testosterone in your skin, and that causes the skin glands to produce more oil. And as your skin's more oily, then bacteria tend to grow and you're going to have pimples. So the way to combat that is to definitely wash your face. You'd be amazed how many teenagers don't do that. Just wash your face twice a day with warm water and a mild soap like Cetaphil or Dove. Just washing your face twice a day and removing that oil is going to be really helpful to you. And a lot of teens also will tend to wear their hair, sort of covering their face. Long hair and so on is really popular.
That's a telltale sign.
Yeah.
Each of us knows all of those tricks.
Yes, and that will actually bring more oil to your face. So keeping your hair back and short and away from your face will help you to control your acne.
Okay. Question number 4, why does a boy's voice change during puberty? You talked about generally what happens. Let's talk about some of the mechanics about why. And does a boy's voice tend to get higher, or does it like really get, in the lower register? You're hitting those bass notes that you'll never be able to hit if you're singing soprano.
Well, that's where those choir boys stop joining the choir anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, our vocal cords, are 2 little tiny fibers, 2 little tiny muscles that vibrate. And by doing that in our throat and having a passage of air through there, we create sounds. And the length of those vocal cords in a baby are very tiny. And as we get older, they will get, longer. So we have a bigger voice box. That's a voice box in there. And in boys around puberty, what will happen is that the testosterone again will stimulate that area. The vocal cords will get longer. The whole area will enlarge and you'll have a bigger larynx, so be able to produce a deeper sound.
All right, that was the last question, so let's end it on this. What is the best way that a person going through puberty can generally just handle it? What mindset should they have?
Just hang in there. Getting enough sleep is really critical for young teens and so on. You know, everybody's on their phone and on the internet and on the, you know, all these devices that they've got, the electronics, and they're up late. And as a teenager is going through these times, they need to get sufficient rest. Everything's changing in their body physically, emotionally they're going through a lot, socially they're going through so many changes. They're basically entering a completely different body many times, you know, during the year. Their body is changing so much in that time, and they need to get sufficient rest. So please encourage your teenagers to get 9 hours of sleep if you can, so count back from whatever time they need to wake up in the morning.
All right, well, Doc, thanks as always. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, stay tuned. We're back after this.